Kind of thinking, though, along the lines of some of these deaths, like, I don't know, when we think about the Death Eaters and choosing to be with Voldemort, how many of them do you think were motivated by a fear and wanting to be on the side of power, or how many do you think really shared that same ruthless philosophy? I mean, we don't get to know a lot of them, but are there any that kind of stories that kind of interested you, or that you have any thoughts about this? Either of you?
I feel like it's something that should have been, or still can be, explored by J.K. Rowling.
The backstory,
like
of
the story of
Eaters.
some of the Death Eaters and like what.
Yeah.
Because we learned that some of them, he like threatened their families, or like some of their family had died, so they joined him. Mm-hmm. But do they regret their actions? Why are they still with him? What are they still afraid of?
And there were differences between, like, Bellatrix and, it seemed like Barty Crouch Jr. I always forget him. But,
Yeah.
and some others that seemed like very...
The ones that seemed genuinely cruel versus the ones that were kind of just laughing along with the crowd. You know, like, what's the Executioner, McNair? Mm-hmm. Seemed like he enjoyed torture and cruelty, whereas a lot of the other ones, like... Malfoy just seems to be kind of a...
I'm not sure he really, like, is that cruel in the same way. Like, I think he likes power and he likes making
arrogant.
people feel littler than him, but not necessarily in a I'll kill you way.
He's there to pick up whatever pieces of power Voldemort drops behind him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a possum.
Barty Crouch Jr. Now there is an interesting character.
His tongue will go down in history.
I was going to say, I don't really remember that from the book. I don't know if it was even in there, but after seeing the movie, I can't not see him do that weird thing with his tongue that Reese is doing.
He does.
Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, we're doing a movie night with you.
I guess.
You will not be able to get it out of your mind.
Then I don't want to see it.
Every time I see that actor, I just imagine him doing that.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. That
Is that how they show that there's something wrong with him? Or what do you...
That's how you kind of know.
He's just kind of like...
And also, a couple times when Barty Crouch Jr. is actually Mad-Eye Moody, like when he's pretending to be him, when he starts to kind of go back and need more Polyjuice Potion, you get a few glimpses that he, like, does that thing with his tongue, and so you kind of know they're setting you up that it's...
Yeah.
Okay. So
if anyone was paying attention real closely, and... Yeah.
When my niece gets excited, she sticks out her tongue to the side, and it kind of, like, twists, and then she'll, like, still start giggling, and we call her Barty Crouch Jr.
Your family.
Yep. But I'm not allowed to actually call her that to her mother's face.
Ooh.
Even though she's the one that came up with it, so I'm not sure why you put that idea in my head.
Probably want some more positive, good role model nicknames, right?
Tell me that she doesn't look like him. Oh, no, she does. Yeah. It's David Tennant. He plays Doctor Who.
Oh.
And he's in Jessica Jones. He was in something else.
Yeah,
Broadchurch on Netflix.
It would kind of throw me off, though, to be, like, watching it and not... I mean, there's some characters like that... It was weird for me because one of the first things that I saw Alan Rickman in was Harry Potter.
Not Sense and Sensibility.
And now I've since seen that, and I love it. But most people...
I've never seen that, I guess.
I was going to say, most people probably saw him in other things, because he was a, well-known actor. So it's weird, like, some of those characters, depending on what you see first and how good a job they do, or, you kind of get that image stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like, Maggie Smith, I've enjoyed for...
millennia.
Yeah. And, like, it's funny because, there's so many people that they only know her from Harry Potter. Well, now I guess she's in Downton Abbey. Or was, I don't think it's on anymore. But, I mean, I remember being in elementary school and, they'd say, like, who's your favorite actor? Who's your favorite actress? And, like, all the girls were like, Brad Pitt! And I was like, Maggie Smith? You're like, who's that?
What did you?
She was in Hook,
That's right. Yeah.
and she was in Sister Act.
Oh,
I have not seen that
Really?
in
I
forgot that.
such
I
a long
love
time.
Sister
Those are
Act.
the two
It's been
things
a
that
long
come to
time.
mind when I think of her.
I
Also,
think of.
neither of those were great roles, but, whatever.
I always think of first Harry Potter
yeah.
and second Clash of the Titans. She played the goddess Athena,
Really?
I believe.
I need to see this.
Oh, Clash of the Titans is a classic.
Well, I know it is. Now I need to see it even
Harry
more.
Hamlin. Before he looked weird. I love you, Harry Hamlin.
Whoa. Harry, if you're listening, tweet at us. Thunderwudgie. Thunder, and then Wudgie.
Don't forget the @ symbol. We're going to need that.
At Thunderwudgie.
Wudgie, not wedgie.
That's right.
That's our
Listen to
motto.
episode 1 for more about that. Any other tragic deaths, deaths that shouldn't have happened, deaths that should have happened? Ron.
Ron should have happened. She caved to pressure. We've discussed this
I think
before.
we
It was
have.
one of our first.
Yeah.
She caved to pressure, and it was a mistake to not kill Ron.
But to put Harry through another
Hey,
death.
There, like 100
I mean-
some people died. I mean,
but I just feel like Ron should have died. Harry and Hermione.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely yes.
Tweet at us at Thunderwudgies and say no.
It's just gonna be the word no.
Just no.
Hashtag
But
no.
then it's
No.
also like, I don't know. I mean, they made that that was Ron's fear forever, and
And apparently he was justified in it. According to her.
I think that's ridiculous. That was his fear.
but apparently not, because you think they're made for each other.
I don't know, made for each other. I feel like they would have made it work.
Like an arranged marriage.
Okay, well this is a
But is that really what we're advocating
this
for?
is a
Making it
different.
work. Tim Gunn, I love you, but sorry.
I was trying to think of a Tim Gunn quote and I couldn't.
Just make it
top of my
work.
head. I was trying to think of something
else
in response to that.
Nothing.
I was like, nope, that is
Well,
that-
you'll come up
that's
with
the
it, and then we'll
shutdown.
edit this, and you just stick it right in there,
Tim
and you'll
Gunn
look really brilliant.
shutdown.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Hashtag no.
hashtag epic pocket square.
Okay, but wait. But I said that. Is that really what you
Well, no,
want?
I think
I'll tell you what I
their
want, what I really, really
relationship-
want. I'll tell you what you want, what you really, really want.
Zig zig.
I wanna.
Anyways,
Yeah, you just keep working on your doodle
back
there.
to I
Every
don't know
time
what
we
it
drive
is.
her crazy, she
Yeah.
makes another mark.
You want my future, forget my past.
I was just waiting for the chorus.
It'll be right.
I don't know.
I'm not
I'm kind
sure.
of surprised how much of this is coming back to you right now.
The whole song?
like all
Yeah.
the words.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're there.
I never saw the
can't
movie.
memorize the act
Is
of
it worth
contrition,
watching?
but
Okay, to be fair, I have to say, I learned one growing up, and it changed as I was in, maybe, I don't know what year, middle, high school,
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then it just,
Now you're
now
confused.
it's hard, and yeah, it's hard. So I agree with you there, and my priest just always says, then make up your own,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
moment.
we
And
got
I
the
think
one
that's,
sentence
yeah.
one. Lord have mercy on me, a sinner. That is an
Yeah.
act of contrition.
I
feel
shout out
really-
to my priest.
I feel really lame every time I do it, but I think it's an opportunity for humility.
There you go.
Oof.
See?
I learned one when I was, growing up before your first confession, and then
Yeah.
as I grew up, I think other ones made their way into it. So I think mine is actually
A mix.
a mix of all of them.
Wilt of contrition.
I used to do.
It's,
I used to
yeah.
do that too, but then for some reason I just keep freezing up when I'm in there, and he's like,
And you forget everything.
Like the Apostles' Creed and the Nicene Creed, and you're like, wait, what? Ah.
What is this create?
Ah.
Ah.
So
So
hashtag
Harry and
Catholic.
Hermione
Yeah.
kind of, I feel like their relationship is similar to Peeta and Katniss, because they have both been through something very unique that nobody else has been through. So maybe they are the only people that will ever truly understand each other. I don't think what Harry and Hermione went through is exactly as bad as what Peeta and Katniss went through. It's kind of a different level.
Hunger Games. Twice.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
It's like one evil wizard versus an entire evil
But are you
country.
saying Ron didn't experience it because he left? Like, for part of it? Because he was there for a lot of it as well.
I think Ron should have died in, like, the beginning of 6. And then it would have been
When
Harry and Hermione and Sirius.
Oh.
And Sirius would have replaced Dumbledore. I'll rewrite him and I'll give you guys a draft.
Yes, I want to see that.
No, that's a lot of words.
For a
It's still
second
in
there,
home
I
book.
was like, wait, how is Sirius alive?
He never
And then it
died.
got-
He never died.
He never died.
Okay, I'm with you now.
See,
And just in my crazy imagination, I love the books the way they are. It's fine how they turned out. I'm not like upset or bitter about anything. It's just these are my ideas.
Do you think that would have been more powerful because we cared more about Ron? Or obviously some of us did not care about Ron.
I feel like just Ron's character got a little bit weak as the books went on.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't happy with him.
I'll give you that I think that's true.
Like she got lazy writing him and just was like, well, they end up together and they probably have some kids. And then he just becomes like the loser Disney dad that stays at home and makes jokes.
yeah.
And he was more than that.
You know what I'm thinking about right now is I haven't thought about what Hermione's future should be or whatever. Because, like, I've thought about, I will never change my mind. Harry should not get married.
I accept that.
But then I'm kind of intrigued by, so if Ron, I don't know, I'm not saying he should die. I mean, I'm probably, but then where does that leave Hermione? Like, what is Hermione's life?
I expected her to become the next McGonagall.
Is McGonagall, like, always single? Is she a widow? Do we have any idea what her story is?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never hear about anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, and she obviously loves learning, and
Yeah.
so it seems like in some way you'd want to incorporate that. I don't know if she would have really enjoyed Minister of Magic that much.
No.
I did not.
I think that's
see that at all.
awful.
I
No.
reject the cursed child.
Yeah, everything about
Well,
it.
yes, that I pretend that it doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
so-
It seems like a Bizarro World version of the Harry Potter future.
Yeah,
And it's like,
it doesn't make sense that Harry would ever have that kind of like normal relationship with his son. Like he would have an exception. He would have to have an exceptional relationship with his
because he would be
kids.
trying to overcompensate, kind of.
Yeah.
thing, or-
Like he would. His kids might be kind of like assholes because he dotes on them so much.
And I get the part I do accept of that book is that it would be very hard to be raised in the shadow of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like, I get that part, that there would be some resentment, probably, from kids. But yeah, I think... And I mean, I guess that's the point. Every kid is different, and it's hard as a parent to totally understand all of your kids. But yeah, I think that's kind of weird, too. I think he would really try and make up for the childhood he didn't have.
Yeah.
But could he? I mean, because are a lot of these things that we learn or are deficient in is because we were unable to kind of learn those things ourselves. So would he, as much as we can want to do things well or correctly or whatever, at the end of the day, would he have like the tools and the ability to do that well? I mean, like maybe he goes to a lot of wizard therapy and is able to really learn about fatherhood and masculinity and how to love your kids and, whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. I had a thing, and then I
or we're
lost
back
the
to
thing.
be where he should be single and this not even an issue.
I mean, maybe. I think he would have, moved out into the country and would have, raised his kids completely different from the way he was raised. And,
Yeah.
he would have just done things entirely differently. And we see them in The Cursed Child as, normal wizards, every day going to work, suit and tie, but they would not be those people. Mm-hmm. They never wanted those things. Even Hermione didn't want the suit and tie everyday life. She was obsessed with the wonder of magic.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Now you've got me thinking that I need to reread the book.
I would also see her, living in the Muggle world.
Yeah, maybe she is trying to incorporate, Muggle wizard kind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that being the Minister of Magic or any other kind of highfalutin thing would be a barrier to that.
Yeah. I don't...
Although she did have the only sense, I guess, of kind of that politics. She did have the whole thing with Spew and trying to help the house elves, and she did have some sense of, and throughout kind of reminding of, why they needed to fight and things. So, I don't know, maybe she had some sense of that, maybe through this I can make the wizarding world better, or, again, like you said, more understanding of Muggle kind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I still think she would have been turned off by it eventually. But and it was another thing that she could strive to do and see if she could pass or fail, kind of thing.
But all through school they're breaking rules and not doing what they're supposed to do, and I just can't imagine them just suddenly settling into some kind of bureaucratic situation. And even though she's a rule follower, naturally, I think that through the whole experience that she would...
I feel like if Harry's son came to him with a time turner and was like, Dad, look what I found. I went back in time. Then Harry would be like, look, I'll show you how it's done. And they would go back in time together. He'd break the rules again. Because he always has. He's never followed the rules. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, now I've shown you how it works. Let's get rid of it.
I forgot.
Because bad things happen.
A time turner involved.
In The Cursed Child?
Yeah, I think I tried to forget everything
That's
about
what
the
the
Cursed
whole
Child.
thing is about.
Yeah, I think I just, repressed that.
I could see Harry teaching his kids to break rules effectively. In honor of, the twins.
Mm-hmm. Just don't get caught.
Yeah. And then Professor Longbottom would have to call Harry into his office and say, you know what your son did? And then he would look at Neville and be like, Neville, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Moment of silence now, thinking about the twins. And I know, so it was George survived, right? But the ear, and Fred was the one who died. Okay, here's how I know this. This is kind of, okay. I'm pretty sure it's correct because I went to a friend's Harry Potter Halloween party. Mm-hmm. And she and I dressed up like Fred and George. Note, I do not look good in a red wig. Real bad. Real bad. And I picked George because I was like, with my maiden name was a G, and so I was like, okay, I can use this sweatshirt. We put the G on it, and I was like, oh, I can use this for other things. But secretly, I rejoiced in being the one that didn't die. I'm pretty sure that's correct, right?
I just feel like George has a kid named Fred, which is another reason I think you're correct. Because he named his son after his brother.
Sorry, everyone, if I'm totally wrong, but yeah, the pictures
I just feel like Fred is the descendant.
Yeah.
I feel like he names his kid Fred.
The pictures are hilarious, and I will show them to
I
you.
need to see those.
Yeah, we'll tweet him.
But they're pretty bad.
We'll tweet him out. To finish up with life's most important questions.
Of death.
Death's most
Which
important
would
question.
be the most painful, the most deadly, the one you could not stand to eat of Bertie Bott's every flavor beans? Now, the obvious answer is vomit. But don't forget that you would have to actually chew on a boogie Bogey. Damn. Or earwax.
I was going to say my favorite line is Dumbledore when he goes, "Alas, earwax."
Yeah.
I just love that one.
And there's also
but pretty gross.
There's also earthworm.
Oh.
And I feel like toadstool is one.
Oh.
Which isn't actually the stool of a toad. A toadstool is a mushroom.
Oh, okay.
But
not as bad.
but a toadstool is probably different than a mushroom. I was thinking about this on the way over here, and I will tell you what the worst one is.
Cheating.
Earwax.
Why?
Why?
Because I've tasted vomit in my life. I already know what I'm prepared for with that one. But earwax, okay, I've tasted earwax because I was a child once too. But that is the most unpleasant flavor in the world.
There's a flavor?
Well, there
I
would
was
be in a
inclined to
big...
think
earwax
that it wouldn't
tastes
be
like
bad.
something.
I would think it would be.
It's
without
bitter.
flavor.
It's bitter and waxy.
Does it depend on whose earwax it is?
It probably does. But the point is that like
This is making me want to vomit. So
the point is that imagine actually having to eat a whole jelly bean of that crap. I could not do it.
So, okay, do these jelly beans smell, or do they just have the flavor? Because I think that
Jelly
would make a
beans
big
don't
difference.
usually, like,
yeah, I was gonna
smell
say they
too
don't.
much.
No, but they're
really-
magical.
I don't think they smell because they don't want you to know what you're going to get. Like
Yeah, that would give it
Dumbledore
away.
would have known what he was going to eat.
Does earwax smell?
I don't think so, but I've never had a
I bet-
jelly bean's worth in my hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet that amount would have a slight smell. Yes.
But I mean, there's also earthworm, dirt.
What about
Grass?
Dobby's sock? I mean, that would be an awful bean. Dobby's sock flavored bean.
I'm sorry, guys. That was
Never apologize for that.
No.
ugh. Dobby suck.
Trying to think, like, what's the worst, nastiest?
Well, see, here's the thing. I would
Dumbledore's-
think
not Dumbledore. Voldemort's nose.
Oh,
I was gonna say the thing about
Nagini-Bean's skin that she shreds.
I can't even.
Where has she been?
I can't breathe. Okay.
Buckbeak's poo.
That's not that bad. It's
You've
just
eaten
poo.
Buckbeak's poo. What is? But doesn't Buckbeak eat like raw
Anything in
things?
Hagrid's.
Yeah,
cabinet.
I mean, I just
Would
feel
be
like
pretty
anything that
gross.
eats raw things is going to have nasty poo. That's not the same as like
Well,
grass eating.
humans eat sushi.
Yeah.
Do we have nasty poo? I've never tasted it, to be honest. What were you going to say? You were going to say something about...
Okay, no, this is going back to not very funny, but I feel like part of the worst part about an earthworm one would be the consistency of a worm, which you would not get in a
Bean.
Yeah.
So I think it would be gross, but it could be worse. I think we've all had a little dirt as a child, right? So we could,
Yeah,
we could
I mean, that's
push
another
through
thing where
that.
I'm like, I can't see an earthworm having any kind of strong flavor.
It's probably very dirt tasting.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of earthworms, I think of the smell when it rains, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the worms or the
For
dirt
me, it's
or
more
what the
the-
smell is.
The sight of seeing them and crushing them.
Yeah, that too, but it's all kind of combined. It's the,
Yeah.
the smell and the
I
death.
do have like a phobia of worms. Like I hate worms. Like when it rains, it's like ugh. It really grosses me out.
So gross Reese out, tweet a picture of a worm at us.
One time, I could have sworn I saw a metal
I
hook.
would love if someone did that.
When I was like really little, I swore I saw a metal hook on the ground. And I was like, oh, I was like obsessed with like finding like little trinkets like all around. And I go to pick it up, and it was a worm. Like that looked like it
Was it a
hook.
ringworm?
Now that
I
would
was
be a
like,
gross
oh
bean.
my gosh,
Say,
it's a giant-
don't even talk to me about. Ew! I can't even believe that.
Ugh.
Yeah, you want to
Everyone's
talk about
experiencing
things on
some
the
kind of
interwebs,
trauma.
And the dude that ate sushi every day, and then
I haven't seen that.
yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
I love
more.
sushi.
I'm going to put this out there that it's not a bean, but they talk about in the book about how, well, it'd be cursed too, but unicorn's blood. I feel like that would be a horrible tasting one. I know they don't have that, but
Because it's the taste of a half-life, a cursed life.
I don't know. I'm reaching here. I don't really remember that many that were mentioned, like flavored. I think you hit a lot of them. That
Hagrid's rock cake in a bean.
The eat slugs spell.
Slugs would be.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that news article about the kid who ate a slug and then got some kind of rare meningitis and is like paralyzed from the neck down
No.
from just eating a slug
That's awful.
that had just the right mix of bacteria?
So this is real news and
That's sick.
Harry Potter, yeah,
That's so sad.
it's in Australia, so I think America's safe, but
Everything is deadly in Australia.
true.
So you're right.
I wouldn't recommend
Bloody
eating
Rippa.
slugs though. Even here.
No, that's why it was a curse in Harry Potter. It's a bad idea.
Kids learning valuable lessons.
So what is the consensus? Vomit?
I
Nagini's belly skin. Because you said shedded skin, but I was picturing just the belly portion.
Oh my gosh. That was the ball. I'm sorry. But I'm sitting on an exercise
That would
ball.
actually be the really cute name for like a pet dog or something.
Nagini?
Nagini-Bean.
Oh.
That's cute. I thought you were gonna say like
Nagini belly skin or
I was like, no, that's
Shedded skin.
not. Shedded skin.
Or actually, would the basilisk skin be worse because it's like ancient?
It'd just be really tough. I feel like it'd be very
It tastes like
callous.
pipes.
Yeah,
Metal
sewer
and
pipes.
sewer water.
Ew, okay,
It's worse. It's
worst.
Yeah.
Worst consensus. No, wait, what did you say again? Earwax?
Earwax. I just feel like earwax would be the worst. Because it's probably the consistency of earwax as well.
I really, really dislike vomit though, so that's still a strong one for me.
And it would have like the acidic aftertaste that would just stay in your mouth.
Well, we've created some great images for all of you. I'd be interested in what
It'd be
you're
like, you know when you
you're thinking.
vomit and then you have to chew on like something, some of the vomit like gets stuck in your teeth.
Very rarely hurled in my life, so I think I'm blessed that I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
All
she's
right.
repressed it, but tweet at us. Let us know which flavor would be the worst.
In the bean.
Nagini-Bean.
And we are
That's the title of this episode.
at Thunderwudgie for our Twitter. For our Gmail, it's Thunderwudgies, plural, at
Yep.
gmail.com.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there. For any
Thanks for
any
listening.
ideas.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Keep it real.
Happy Easter!
Woo woo.
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 Thunderwudgie is hosted by Reese, Annie, and Teej. We're at Thunderwudgie on Twitter, and you can send us an email via thunderwudgies@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.